Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. SAG-AFTRA Foundation and BroadwayWorld continue their filmed Conversation Q&A series, which celebrates the vibrant theater community here in New York City. This event, which is coming from the Robin Williams Center, is a special conversation with two of the stars of NBC's recent Jesus Christ Superstar Live. Please welcome Sara Bareilles and Brandon Victor Dixon. We were just standing out in the hallway. I had goosebumps. What was it like for you two watching the end of this and the bows?
Oh, I thought that was amazing. I haven't watched it since we did it, and that was so emotional and like so just remembering all the people and the personalities and how joyful that moment was.
That was awesome. A tremendous visual effect.
Yes.
With him receding into the.
I know.
That was amazing.
Thank you. That was mine. That was a little suggestion I made.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was so honored to have been there Easter Sunday night. I was there live, and I have to tell you, what was really great about that, there was this electric energy in the air before it started, but there was this incredible calmness at the very same time. What was it like for all of you, like before you started the show?
I mean, I think there was an incredible amount of energy and electricity because everybody has so much to do the whole time. But there's also, I mean, there's a real comfort and a real, that we've got our schedule, we know what we're doing, and so there's still a real surety of, okay, be deliberate about this. Now, the tattoos that I was wearing are fake, and this was the first day that they didn't all go on cleanly, so we had to redo all of them, and whilst that was happening, the entire cast was being addressed by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber and Sir Tim Rice, words of sincerity and dedication that inspired them to produce what you saw, and I missed all of it.
Which is why your performance was just like...
Deeply emotional and broken. Yes. Yes.
What was it like for you right before?
My tattoos they went on really easily, so... No, it was really, I was saying this earlier, it felt like a free fall. And there was such a sense of camaraderie and connection amongst the cast and crew and creatives. And we all knew we were at like the Super Bowl halftime show of musical theater. And so, there's only been a handful of these and we felt really excited and really proud to get to share what we'd been working on because I think we all felt that it was good, and so we were proud to share it, and so it's been really nice to see that the response has been so positive as well.
How much rehearsal did you all have? Because some people were touring, some people were doing shows, so how much rehearsal did you all have?
Everybody had a different amount. I came in intermittently, but there was an initial chunk of time, and then
2 weeks with the apostles and John and Sara, and then John went away for 3 weeks to tour Southeast Asia.
Just a casual Southeast Asian tour. Before doing this, that dude is the coolest.
Okay. I was like, all right. But Sara finished Waitress the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
I finished shooting a show the next 2 weeks, and they brought in like another half of the ensemble and taught them what we had kind of laid the groundwork for. And then we started to return. Sara and I started to come back. Then Ben Daniels came in, and Eric Gronwall came in, and the rest of the ensemble came in. And then we all moved to the theater space in Brooklyn. And then John came back, and Alice came back, and then so we were all together the final 5, 6 days.
Yeah.
So how many times did you run the entire show before you shot it?
Like that?
Yeah.
Once. With everything, once. Now, we ran it in the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Maybe twice.
I think a handful of times total.
Yeah.
But only once in the space with an audience that way.
Yeah,
which
cameras,
was really
commercials,
helpful.
Costumes, everything. Yeah, it's like once.
Take me back to the beginning. What was your first introduction to Jesus Christ Superstar? Was it when you were growing up?
Mine was, yeah, my introduction was to the film, and I rented the movie, and I just remember watching. I grew up Catholic, and I went to Catholic school, so the story of the crucifixion was near and dear to the life of my family, and we would go to church on Sunday, and Easter was a really big deal. And I remember watching the movie and being just gutted, and especially during Gethsemane. And I think I rewound it and watched it again and again. I was just so moved by the humanity of Jesus in that moment. And that song, I think, is just so spectacular. So my introduction was to the film when I was probably 12 or something, 13, something like that.
Brandon, for you.
I encountered the song Heaven on Their Minds sometime like 2001 or 2002, back when Napster was still going and you could just download things at random. Right. So I had Heaven on Their Minds, and I loved the song. I loved the song so much that I never listened to the rest of the musical and investigated whether or not I might like some more of it, which is odd. But that was how I knew the show, but I had never watched it. I hadn't listened to the rest of it. I only knew Heaven on Their Minds when the audition for this came about.
So what was that audition like? You had to audition? Did you audition?
I didn't audition, but but real talk, I heard about Brandon's audition from casting, and no, they were talking about you, and they said nice things.
Well, Bernie's a friend. He's been
Yeah.
well paid for many years.
No, but yeah, he was, I think clearly you saw what he did with that role. It was astounding.
Totally. You worked with one of the most sought-after directors, with David Laveau. Did he do a beautiful job? Just the visual eye that man has, but where you all went with his direction, what makes him one of the most sought-after directors to work with? And what did you each learn from him and take away?
He was just wonderfully intelligent and sensitive and inquisitive and just very focused on the storytelling and understanding that was paramount and that you were dealing with a concept album. So it's not the most densely layered textually. There's not a whole lot of text. It's dense and it's layered in its themes and its emotion and its storytelling, but you have to work to make sure every beat is communicated. And he was really attuned to that. And actually, I think one of the ensemble members told me that he said, because I watched the first 5-10 minutes of it, but immediately I was like, oh my God, everybody is fantastic. And I was talking to one of the ensemble members, Cindy Winters, about it, and she said, one of the things that really helped that is that David said to everybody on the first day, he said, oftentimes we get into this process and we walk into a room and we hide and we don't really give the fullness of ourselves because we feel that we're in here, but eventually we're going to get found out. We're going to get found out, and then we're going to be exposed and we're going to be out of here. And he said, I want everybody to know you have already been found out. And that is why you are here. So give us all of it, And I think that freed everybody, and he knew how to use what the room gave him. It was beautiful, I think.
Sara, for you.
Yeah, he had such a beautiful way of sort of inviting you to play. And he never wanted to impose ideas that didn't feel resonant or didn't feel like they came from a natural place. He was really curious about my perspective, and I think he treated everybody that way, really curious to hear what your perspective and what your take on the character and the storytelling. And he always brought us back to the fact that this is a show about love, and more love. He said that ad nauseum. It was in a beautiful way, and because it's so true. And it's about Judas's love for Jesus and Mary's love for Jesus and Jesus's love for the world and all of the above. And so he really wanted us to pour love into what we were making. And that was the only thing that was a non-negotiable. And that felt like, okay, I can rise to that occasion. I think we all felt like we wanted to rise to that.
You know, this is such an iconic show and score. What was it like living in these roles and this iconic score created by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice? These are such iconic songs which everybody in this house grew up with on either the concept album, the Broadway album, the movie album. I mean, and you've taken that to a whole other level now with these sensational performances that you gave.
Thank you. I found it to be such a joy. I think, I did a little bit of historical research about Mary, just for fun, and actually learned so much about what a powerful person she was and what a powerful influence she was on Christ and their relationship. And so it was fun to sort of tease that out of the material a little bit for myself. I mean, I always felt like this was not something I didn't want to muck with it. It wasn't broken. It didn't need fixing. It was just, these are beautiful songs that just needed singing. And, but I did like getting to sort of live inside of this woman who really was just a beacon of love and support and encouragement and strength. She was really strong. And so I hope that came across. But I really loved getting to sort of swim in the JCS world. It was beautiful. You had more heavy lifting than I did.
I did. Well, I only listened to the motion picture album to learn it, because when we were in, when we started, we had a music rehearsal, and they pretty much said, sing Judas for the most part. Andrew lets him sing whatever he feels. He's like, Jesus, he tends to be a bit more stringent about, but Judas, so he's like, listen to a couple of the recordings and, pick what you think makes sense for you. And I was like, okay. So, but I listened to Carl Anderson on the motion picture, because he was just the cat, man. Like, he was in the pocket all the time. And it was like, well, it's not gonna get better than this. So he was the real archetype for my vocal, for learning the show. But and I got to meet Andrew, Sir Andrew. I did not get to meet Tim Rice, but I want to Sir Tim. But I really wanted to talk to him, because the words really took me, because I didn't watch a lot of other performances. But the words took me to some really, really interesting places as an actor, as a human being, and just this investigation of what is happening between these two people. And again, this idea of deconstructing a deification. When you take figures and make them larger than life, and then when you can really investigate the human spectrum of a difficult circumstance. Like, his words really explored so many different things that I just thought was really fantastic about this process.
The clothes were amazing. All these costumes, right?
Paul
okay.
Tazewell, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were you able to keep anything? It just stays here amongst us.
Some of us were.
I got the sandals, guys.
Some people who are hosting the Tony Awards got to keep pieces of their
Yes,
costumes.
let's hear it for Sara Bareilles and Josh Groban, who are hosting the Tonys this year.
Come out, Josh. He's not here.
We'll get him here. So you have the sandals.
I have the sandals. But who wants, you run around with, your feet and come on. It's like shoes are the easiest thing to take away.
They want to hang them on things and then put gold plaques that say Sara Bareilles, Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
You could
People
wear them
will
at the beach.
pay a lot for that.
Right? They would.
Yeah. No,
Did you get your outfit at the end? How about his outfit? Right?
Right?
I did not get my outfit at the end.
Well, we've got to find out where that lives.
It's a shame, because that's so versatile. You can use it for so many things.
There were so many things. I had ideas.
We have a question from someone in the audience, from Jenna. How do you emphasize self-care during the intense rehearsal process without getting sick? I mean, you're doing double duty, you're doing shows, you're shooting a TV show, you're doing Waitress, and you're rehearsing this new big monster of a show. How do you stay healthy?
Sometimes you don't. I have to say, getting sick becomes, when you're in a show 8 times a week, getting sick becomes like your deepest, darkest fear. It's like if you get any tickle in the back of your throat, it's like, oh my God, I might be getting sick. I gotta go home, guys. I gotta go home. I might be getting sick. Which is so, it's uncomfortable to live that way. But for me, sleep and hydration are those are the two keys. Tons of sleep, like 9 to 10 hours a night, which is ridiculous. But that's for me how I'm most apt to stay healthy.
That's doing a Broadway show and rehearsing this.
Yeah.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
get 9 hours.
Lots of time.
Cat naps.
I'm an artist, so
It's written already.
embarrassing.
It's
People
done.
with like
That's
kids and real jobs are like, cool, I work on 4 hours of sleep a night. Like, sorry, guys.
Brandon, for you, how did you stay healthy and how do you stay healthy during projects?
I mean, sleep. Sleep is the
Yeah.
primary thing. You know, when you can, while you like, that's the main regenerator for the voice. But also like knowledge of your voice, body. Like I've done everything with this guy. We've had high highs, we've had low lows. Like so during the process when you need to mark or you need to conserve or you need to like, I'm here, I don't. Young Brandon would have sung it full out every single time to prove to them that he can do it. Today's Brandon's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. Like, there's one. It's like that. But you learn yourself and you figure out, but also knowing that, okay, but you're gonna have to do this a couple of times to make sure that you will be able to do this full out all the way through. It's that kind of measuring. So, conditioning yourself and knowing yourself and sleeping.
Yeah.
What superstar song did you find most challenging to sing or to find while you were working on it?
I actually had a harder time. I don't have that many songs, but Everything's All Right. In rehearsals, I would butcher the lyrics like just within an inch of their life. And I'm sitting there going like, why does everyone else know the words to everything? And this thing just repeats twice. Like there's only 2 things to learn and then you just do them again. And I don't know what I was talking about. At one point I'm singing my social security number. It's like just making it through, but it came out okay on the night of. That was my big fear, but I had less words to learn.
Mine was probably Judas's death, because it was the one, because it is so much of Damn for All Time, and I had learned the second half of it for the audition. I didn't think too much about it as I was doing the rest of them, and then it was like, oh, you have to do that tomorrow. Yeah. So starting to really learn it and then figure it out, because it's long and you go through it. You have to go through a bunch of different things, and you realize, well, you've got to come back and you've got to sing Superstar. So you can't scream your way through this. Yeah. So you're going to act your way through this one. So it's like that kind of calculus, and trying to figure out the most honest place to look for, and then see what happens. Yeah.
My final question is, what is the if you could sum up the best part of the experience of working on Superstar, what was it for each of you?
Like the best aspect of it?
Best, yeah.
Just the real joyful feeling of being there and wanting to be there with everybody every day. Early, late, it was really lovely to be in that space with everybody and to see everybody show up the way they needed to show up. To recognize that time is a burden for everybody. So the cameras have to get their thing done. So if you have not finished choreographing this number, now that we've changed it and moved music and moved people, now is the time when we have to figure it out. And you all are gonna have to figure that part out on your own, and you all are gonna figure that part out on your own, but we are going to do it because we know what we're doing. And watching everybody do it. Like, that was the stuff, to just watch the people be like, whatever happens, we're gonna do it. And we're going to do it with each other. and we're going to help each other do it.
Yeah, I have to say it was the people. Yeah, to your point, it was just an incredible collective, and everybody sort of operating just at the highest level and on the highest frequency. I think everyone really came with their best selves every day. I didn't really experience any little hiccups, and those are long days, and especially the ensemble were exhausted. I mean, they're dancing and
when you weren't feeling right, then people knew to keep it to themselves.
Yeah,
and then receive the hug. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like we come and give you
It
a
was
hug. Thank you. I needed that.
beautiful company, crew and creatives included. Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Well, I want to thank you both. I have known both of you for a long time. You have finally entered the field of Broadway with her beautiful performance and beautiful score for Waitress. And of course, Brandon. So let's hear it for Sara Bareilles and Brandon Victor Dixon.